Welcome to the world-renowned Invest in Her podcast with your host, Catherine Gray. Catherine is a keynote and TEDx speaker, author, executive producer of the movie Show Her the Money, also CEO and founder of She Angel Investors and co-founder of the She Angels Foundation. Our weekly show of powerhouse women, founders, funders, and changemakers is sure to inspire you. Let's go.
Welcome to this week's episode of Invest in Her. I'm your host, Catherine Gray, founder of She Angel Investors and co-founder of the She Angels Foundation, as well as executive producer of Show Her the Money movie. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. We have on a great guest as always. Today, it's going to be Katie McCormick Lelyveld, and she is the founder of Meld. And what is Meld? It is the AI-powered career readiness platform for NextGen women. Please welcome Katie to the show. Hi, Katie. How are you?
Hi, Catherine. I'm so excited to be here. My formal name is also Catherine spelled that way, which is a very special thing. So,
and the kids, my nieces in the family call me Katie. So there you go.
One and the same. Well, it's
spirit.
a treat to be part of it's a treat to be here today. So thank you for including me.
You know, I'm excited to talk about what you're doing to empower women with your community, the communication, the coaching. But first, I have to talk about your background because it's so incredible and everybody's going to want to hear it. So let's tell them about how you were the first press secretary for Michelle Obama at the White House. I'm sorry, that is just cooler than anything.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Well, yes, I was Mrs. Obama's second hire and first press secretary as they were starting the journey to DC. Wow. President Obama was then a senator. The girls were quite small at the time. They were navigating the presidential run, and two of us joined the team at that time, her sensational chief of staff, Melissa Winter, and me, in the spring of 2007. And we like to joke that we hit all 99 counties of Iowa and got to know, we're in a minivan together for those 2 years of the campaign, which were really formative and incredible. Such opportunities to meet such incredible people. And most importantly, where Mrs. Obama could be, if people could feel that they could trust and have confidence in her, then they could trust and have confidence in her husband. And we joked that she was the closer because she was his single best ambassador and champion as we navigated the primary through the general and into the White House, where I served as her press secretary in the first term.
Oh my gosh, that is like so exciting. I mean, what a lifetime experience. You must have been like pinch me, right?
It was a very special opportunity, especially because, as I was navigating wanting to be part of that presidential cycle where I was in my learning and career growth, I had gotten to know so many of the different team members who were part of the different campaigns that were taking shape. But I happened to have an opportunity to watch President and Mrs. Obama, Senator and Mrs. Obama at the time, on the Oprah Winfrey Show. And right after he gave the speech at the Democratic National Convention in 2004, and I remember thinking, he seems amazing, but who is that? Right away, I was struck by her, and I just wanted to understand if that was going to be the direction they were going to take. I wanted to be close to her. I just got her. I think it was in part the way I was raised. I am also from Chicago. I was raised in a house where my mom, who had a lifelong battle with disability, but it never dulled her advocacy, mission-driven personality, her urgency to make sure that I was constantly taught and engaged in making the world a better place around me. She would record.
Oh, she sounds amazing.
Yes, and
she used to run the whole house too, do all
that's right.
Everything. I mean, they were a great entrepreneurial team, but my mom was,
The boss.
Yeah,
a force all on her own.
But you know what I'm saying.
That's right. And at that time, the news aired once a day at 5:30, right? There were 3 broadcasts you could choose from. And my parents would record it and insist I watch it back with them after dinner so they could pause it and annotate what I was seeing on TV. And at the time, the longer version of the news is not the one like a 9-year-old wants to watch. But I didn't realize how formative it was to my understanding of the details of how stories are told, who has the power in these stories, whether that power is fair, who's left out of the news, who's delivering the news. And it really helped to shape the way I think about storytelling and bridge building and social justice. So all these years later, this opportunity to work in DC was exactly where I was meant to be, but working for her was where I wanted to be. I was invited to chat with her about the opportunity. I put on my big girl suit. I drove down to her house. She came to the door. We chatted, and it changed everything. And I credit her with being the best version of how I show up at work, for my family, in my marriage, all the things. She's the greatest.
Uh, Amazing. And what a manifester you are. I mean, to see her on the Oprah show and then end up working for her with that desire to manifest that, that is really a powerful manifestation, girl.
Well, I appreciate that. We're trying to fuel all that grit and drive and hustle into what we're building now because, quite honestly, in the spaces that we created around Mrs. Obama because of at her strategic direction, those rooms weren't accidental. They were engineered. We
Right.
were creating spaces for people that didn't otherwise feel like that space was for them.
And
And
that's what you're
part of
doing
our
now.
mission, that's what we're
Yes,
doing now. That's
that's what you're
exactly
doing
right.
now. And, I always say whatever we do in the past leads to what we're meant to do, right? So
Mm.
all this experience that you had working with Ms. Obama, with the White House, just in politics itself, and now you're bringing it to Meld, to
Mhm.
create something really special for Gen Z women, right? So
Yeah.
let's talk about what that is. Say, and is it just for Gen Z, or explain it to me?
So we're bracketing it as next gen women at this stage. One, because they are earning more degrees than men and coming out of college in droves and equipped in those ways, but underprepared in others. If you think about when you were first navigating your first job, if you think about what comes to mind when you were starting your career, walking into your first internship or office setting, you got to see how people worked, how they carried themselves, even what they wore. You may have had a role model or a connection who helped you get to that point or navigate those early steps. It was so new and full of lessons and assumptions about how success was made. That's not the norm anymore. The landscape has just changed dramatically over the last several years, especially in the post-COVID world, and where AI is taking over a lot of junior positions. The old ways of identifying talent, getting ready for work, the old ways of working just aren't the same. And I have seen this firsthand with top tier talent just getting started. And not to mention, it's been harder for women to begin with. We had one woman, as we were navigating the design and development of Meld, say to us, "We're always told to take our seat at the table, but no one ever tells us where the table is." That's not a metaphor. It is the
Right.
real world
Because
experience.
sometimes there is no table.
Right, right. If doesn't matter about sitting down and leaning in if you can't find it and no one's vouching for you to get there, preparing you to be ready.
Yeah.
So generations of women have had this experience. And in the meantime, now with so many programs being dismantled and changed, what they're ending up doing is leaving ambitious young women without structure or guidance or access. So they're turning to TikTok because it's the only thing within reach because it's, for all of their career advice. So the talent is there. It's just the ways to identify them and the systems meant to support them are cracking. So to me, it just felt like this was the opportune time. Over the last few years, I had spent so much of my professional energy in a coaching and strategic communications and connection space. And I kept working with these dynamic, mission-driven, transformational, mostly women who would also ask me to connect with the women across their org charts and help make sure that they didn't just know the stuff, they knew their stuff. It was about the confidence and preparing them to be ready for the moment. So, what we're really focusing on is harnessing all of that coaching, content, and community to deliver the career readiness skills companies need, but the leadership development that women are craving. And that's why we're really zeroing in on NextGen talent. They're going to be 30% of the workforce in the next 5 years. But the goal is that it becomes the new standard for leadership development across the board. We can really unlock a lot of potential in this way.
Right. So you're saying they have the skills. They just need to build their confidence and their connections in order to thrive. Now, there's more women CEOs than ever, and more women starting their businesses than ever. So I think this is the right time to have a community that supports them in everything from being on boards to, finding the right leadership positions. How do they get to be in that leadership position? How do they get to be in the C-suite? Because women have been shut out of that for a long time. But we have to build their confidence and make them warriors, right?
Well, right. And what you're saying is exactly right. So the women, there are 4 generations of women in the workforce right now. The those at the helm were maybe the only women in the room when they got started. Those who are stepping in maybe will never be the only women in the room. So if we can be really intentional about intergenerational experiences, those are lasting strategic connections that can benefit everybody. And by using AI as a vehicle to scale the approach, and I'll tell you a little bit about that in a second, but by using that, it becomes like compound interest, right? We are harnessing this community and we're harnessing all of this data and these insights to cascade to more women and to evolve with as each woman engages with what we're doing. And I think that's part of this fundamental shift that we're seeing.
So what's the ideal member that comes into Meld? By the way, does Meld stand for a specific, yeah.
It didn't, it wasn't intentionally an acronym. It really was about the verb and the outcome, like by melding this generational wealth of women, as we call it. That's more like the action. But someone said back to me, "Oh, I get it. It's mentor, it's educate, it's lead, it's do." I'm like, yeah, it is. It is all of
like
these
that.
things.
That's
So
the word
it's
I was
maybe
looking
both.
for, an acronym.
Yes, it's maybe both.
Yeah. Well, I love that. And your website is meldmore.com, right?
Yes, thank you.
And so tell me the ideal person that would be coming to join that.
Sure. So we're actually in this really exciting point right now where we're going to be launching in the next couple of weeks our MVP. There's 2 ways that people can participate. So the ideal NextGen participant is a high potential young woman. So we kind of target 20 to 28, right? She's stepping out potentially of her sophomore year of college as she's starting to really think about her career and her self-definition and her next steps through to her first managerial role. There's a great deal that we navigate as we step into our first jobs and our second jobs, but we also want to be able to add value as women grow through their careers as well. So the ideal NextGen participant is in that sort of high potential space. Now, this is for the woman that knows her grit and her drive and her hustle, or it has a lot of questions and is trying to figure it out. We welcome all of these women, right? It's not tied to a specific university. We have had participants from at Meld from elite schools, state schools, community colleges. It is about the woman and serving the woman who knows the value that this kind of coaching, content, and community can mean for her career readiness. That MVP that I just mentioned will be fueled by dynamic executive content across industry and age. And so we're also going to be putting out a request for participation, low lift, high impact, from dynamic women to share with their friends, share with their networks, take 10 minutes, do a quick audio capture of a couple of answers to some key questions about how you got started, navigated professional challenges, a look behind the curtain in the industry that you're part of. And the platform we're building will comb through all those answers and create effectively a Meld GPT where the coach on demand, the answers are fueled by women who have lived the experiences.
I love that. So women from, let's say, my generation that are in the C-suite kind of telling their story and being there to help these younger women navigate to get to where they are.
Right.
So I love that. We should all be helping each other. We need that, the type of old boys network, but with women, right? We need to be helping each other. And that is what it's all about. That is the crux and the key to the future for women to grow into the C-suite and into their own business ownership, right?
Right, right. And as you so vividly showcased for all of us in your film, you can't be what you can't see, as Paige from All Ray said in one of your recent conversations. But also having the messengers be dynamic women representing different stories, different backgrounds, different kinds of families, different career interests. We're all trying to get maybe into the same house, but we're getting there through different doors. And showing the ways in are very helpful and can cascade to such powerful transformational learnings. That really matters, but it also matters for potentially the boy sitting next to the girl participating in the screening or in our movie or in our platform rather, because it is important for them to see those journeys and learn about those terms, learn about those investment structures. It just happens that the teacher is a woman. That's okay. Many of our teachers have been men. We're still getting the content. So it's okay to change who has the mic as well.
Yeah, and I say, we want male allies that want to help women to grow and prosper, and more women than ever in history are being transferred their family businesses.
Right.
How are they going to run them? Meld will be great for those women too, to learn how to run those family businesses, right? If you
Yes.
think back on it, just a couple decades ago, maybe even just a decade ago, families weren't leaving their businesses to their daughters, but
Right.
they are now. There's a huge shift in that arena. And, the whole girl dad moniker is really popular now. Like, I think dads are proud to be girl dads these days. And this is a beautiful shift because we should be lifting up both men and women, both boys and girls, not just one sex or the other, right? And I just love that your platform provides that platform for the next gen women to rise up into their power and utilize all the brilliance and wisdom that women bring to the table, that really has been left on the sidelines and is going to make the world a better place if we have both genders participating and there's room for everyone, right?
That's right. That's right. And we're creating the workforce that works well for everyone in that
Right.
way. But I think the other key piece that we've unlocked this year as being so critical is leveraging the tools that are being developed now to serve this population over the long term. If you think about, when the internet really took off, it wasn't just the people building the engines or the infrastructure of the companies. It was how names that we know like Google and Facebook and Amazon made these enormous spaces differently accessible for us. We're now in this place where we're watching AI get embedded into some of these platforms, like making us shopping recommendations, or frankly capturing data about us for those businesses to use. But the difference, I think, that is really starting to take shape and that we want to be real players in and leaders in is building around the consumer-driven AI experience. Because the point is, we have worked hard over the last few years to cultivate a methodology and build unique and proprietary data, and then use that hours of trainings and insights and video to be delivered at scale in a way that serves the woman who's the centerpiece of those conversations. That, I think, is going to be the future of professional development, more than just spray and pray kind of networking, but really a very clear guide to climbing the ladder told by the people who've done it.
Right. And knowing that both genders can climb the
That's
ladder.
right. That's right.
Yeah, because that information, that community, that support has not been there for women. So that's why I love what you're doing at Meld. Yeah, and I appreciate that we kind of met through the fact that you all did do a screening of Show Her the Money. And we all are focused on how do we give the tools and funding and education to women about how to excel in this male-dominated
Mhm.
workforce that is going to be better with
Mhm.
dual gender companies being run by both parties, of course. So,
That's right.
I think that that's what's been lacking. But all the research shows that the companies run by both men and women tend to be more profitable. So why would we continue down an old page of a company being run just by men or even just by women, but knowing that it's going to be more fruitful if both genders are at the table? And
That's right.
so I love that you're perpetuating in young women, how do they get into those positions, those decision-making roles
Right.
that they've kind of been left out of, so that the future looks different than the past.
That's right. The future of work is non-gendered in that way. That's right.
Love that. Well, Meld is just a amazing opportunity for young women to dive in, especially when they're, like you said, just coming out in college or just coming out of college,
Mhm.
to jump into that arena so that they have the coaching and support and guidance of other mentors who are already there and willing to give them a leg up. We didn't have that in our generation. Like you said, sometimes they were the only woman in the room. They knew that was special. They weren't bringing anyone along because they couldn't, then they would be put out. But now times are changing. We'd like to think for the better. It might not appear that way, but as long as we have groups like Meld and other communities out
Mhm.
there emboldening and educating women, this is going to be a powerful shift here coming, especially with the transfer of wealth. And I'm excited about it because it is going to be a better world altogether for everyone, and especially also for women and the opportunities that will be given to them. And that in turn will be better for the planet.
Well, it's true, and you're a real steward of that by creating this kind of space. We're having this conversation. If you didn't, we maybe wouldn't be. And it's really important to elevate these discussions and to show people the different resources available and to just make the table bigger. I think that's also part of it. It is, we don't need to be eclipsing each other's efforts. We actually should be joining forces in very collaborative ways. I think the workforce has just never seen a greater opportunity to engage women, and the innovation economy depends on it. So we're doing our best to maximize the moment and benefit populations well beyond our targets. But we can do that better if we do it together. So I appreciate the forum to unpack it with you, because in some ways we're just getting started. It's an exciting and daunting task. But we're really just at the front end of this. So I never expected to be a founder. This was not, the direction where I was headed. But I just feel like this is a really important point to not just respond to this minute, which is so important, but to play the long game, so that these women become the competitive advantage, and work collaboratively.
And you know what? Once you get that download, you have to run with it, because that's your purpose on the planet, right? You got that download, Katie, and you had to run with it. And it's a great download, and it's
Thank
very
you.
necessary. And I'm excited to get this Invest in Her podcast specifically out to those women in the colleges. We
Yeah.
have already screened our movie at many, many colleges, Vanderbilt, USC, UCLA, Wharton, Harvard, of course, and many, many others. And we'll have to get this out to them so that they know about
Yes.
Meld community and all these assets that can help them get to where they want to be in leadership positions. We need more women in leadership positions. This is what's going to help transform the world into a better place. And right now we need that more than ever, right?
That's true. Our one screening that we did with our partners at William Blair had participation from 7 different colleges. We hosted it at Harvard, and women from 7 schools drove in for it. So there's an appetite, there's a hunger, and we can make a meaningful difference on how women are showing up with financial readiness, financial fluency, comfort, by learning the tools and the skills and the terms and the spaces. Our thinking is that, and we share this, if we can get that instruction in the hands of women as they're just getting started, we don't have to be wrestling over the same 2% or 0.8%. We can make a meaningful difference to get to 50%. We don't need the whole 100, but just 50%. because young women know what they're doing. That process is demystified. They feel they understand it, and we're going to guide them comfortably together. That there's a real energy and an entrepreneurial spirit in this generation. So we need to capitalize on it
Yes.
and the tools.
Yeah, you and I are so aligned on getting these young women from high school and colleges, universities to understand about venture capital and other types of investment and funding for their businesses and for their portfolios to build their wealth. And I just can't even imagine if I'd had that opportunity in high school and college to learn all about that. But I'm so glad that together we are working on educating these young women about all of these opportunities that we never knew about, so that they can really be wealth builders and really have a powerful footprint that they're leaving behind as their legacy. It's an exciting time. And I just love what you're doing at Meld. I hope people will check it out, meldmore.com, and become part of that membership community that will be just priceless in value to them.
Thank you, Catherine. I appreciate it very much. Thank you for the opportunity to talk this all through with you, with such a champion in this space. So I appreciate the space to do so today.
Katie, I take it you are on LinkedIn. People can connect with you, right? Katie
Please.
Lelyveld.
Lelyveld.
Yes. Is that right?
It's why I've been KML or KDML in so many ways. But yes, I welcome connections on LinkedIn. I'd love to invite you to channel your energy productively by joining us in our MVP platform and in our membership spaces.
Right. And we welcome the C-suite women to come and help mentor these young ladies.
Yes, please.
Right. I think I have a good connection for you with that.
Ooh, fun.
So let's take a moment to check out meldmore.com. Tell any young woman in your life about it. If you are a young woman, by all means, check it out. Invaluable community and tools to lift you up to the next level. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Of course, you can also find me on LinkedIn as well, Catherine Gray, Catherine with a C, Gray with an A, and visit our websites, showherthemoneymovie.com if you want to see a screening or even actually put one on, and then sheangelinvestors.com. We have plenty of resources there as well if you want to learn about investing. More women need to invest in angel investing and venture capital into women in order for us to have the amount of funding that we actually need. It's a great investment, and it also can make a tremendous amount of impact and leave your legacy. So many opportunities for women to be helping each other today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Katie, thank you for being a great guest. Everybody have a beautiful day. Bye.
Thank you.